You see, life has always been a kind of performance, a drama staged on the vast theater of existence. Yet somewhere along the line, we forgot that it was a play, and we began to take it all far too seriously. We clung to our masks, our costumes, our scripts, as though they were our true selves. We fought to secure applause, to avoid failure, to make the story go exactly as we imagined. But the thing about every drama is that it moves toward an ending, and the ending cannot be delayed forever. One day the curtain will fall, and the lights will go out, and all that seems so urgent will dissolve like mist in the morning sun. But if you pause for a moment, if you step back, you may notice something remarkable. Beneath all the scenes and shifting roles, there is a witness, a silent presence that has been here all along. It watched you as a child, it watched you as an adult, and it will watch even as the body grows old and the story fades. That witness is not touched by triumph or tragedy. It does not grow richer when you succeed or poorer when you fail. It simply sees, and in that seeing, there is a freedom so vast that words can only point toward it. The great illusion of life is that we imagine ourselves as separate actors fighting for a part, protecting our lines, competing for applause. But in truth, you are not merely the actor. You are also the stage on which the actor performs. You are the light that reveals the scene. You are even the silence between the words. Imagine for a moment that the entire universe is like music, endlessly flowing, rising and falling in patterns. Some notes are high, some are low, some fast, some slow, but none is wrong. Each is part of the harmony. And what you are is not just one note trying desperately to play louder than the rest. You are the entire symphony hearing itself. And so, when you feel fear of loss or shame from failure, ask yourself, what is it that is really threatened? Is it the witness, the awareness, the vast spaciousness of being? Or is it only the mask you wore for a time, the temporary costume in this drama? Masks fall, costumes change, roles are rewritten. But the stage itself never disappears. The silence is never harmed by the sound that passes through it. Consider how we chase permanence in a world that is by nature impermanent. We cling to possessions, forgetting that they slip away. We cling to relationships, forgetting that people, too, are passing through. We even cling to our own bodies, though they are destined to change, wrinkle, weaken, and finally return to the earth. Everything you can hold on to in this world is like sand running through your fingers. And yet, there is something astonishing. The one who notices the sand slipping never slips away. The awareness itself is untouched. It was here before the story began, and it will be here after the story ends. When you begin to see this, life takes on a new lightness. The seriousness, the heavy burden of having to make everything perfect begins to fade. It does not mean you stop acting or loving or striving. It means you do these things with playfulness, knowing they are part of a game. You laugh more freely because you see the joke hidden in the seriousness. You cry more deeply because you are no longer resisting the flow of feeling. You live more fully because you are no longer clutching life as a possession. You are dancing with it as a partner. And perhaps the most extraordinary discovery is that even death, the great fear, loses its power when you understand this. For death is simply the closing of one act before another begins. The stage remains, the witness remains, the play continues in another form. What dies is only the mask, never the one who wears it. Think of how, every night when you go to sleep, the world disappears. You forget your name, your story, your problems. Yet the awareness returns in the morning, fresh, untouched. Death is not so different. The curtain falls, but the space in which it falls remains wide open, untouched, eternal. Now, notice how our culture is obsessed with holding on. We record everything, store everything, immortalize everything, as though by saving enough data, we could outsmart impermanence. But, in truth, the beauty of a song lies in the fact that it ends. Imagine music that never stopped, never resolved. Would you enjoy it? It is the silence after the note that makes the note beautiful. It is the ending of the story that gives the story meaning. Life is precious because it passes, and you are free because you are not what passes. You are what remains. So perhaps the invitation is not to escape the play, but to enter it more deeply, to live each moment fully, knowing it is fleeting, to laugh in the face of sorrow, to dance even as the curtain begins to close. For the witness is not bound by time. It watches time flow like a river, while itself remaining still. And the moment you rest in that awareness, the fear of loss dissolves, because nothing essential can be lost. Take a look at the trees. the clouds, the rivers, none of them struggle to be something they are not. The tree does not strain to hold its leaves forever. It lets them go, season after season, trusting that new leaves will come. The river does not try to freeze itself in place. It moves freely, finding its way. And so it is with you. You need not hold on so tightly. You are not the passing forms, but the flow itself. And the more you realize this, the more alive you become, because every moment is seen as a gift, not as a possession. So the question is not how can I make life permanent, but rather can I embrace the impermanence fully? Can I dance with the fleeting moments instead of clinging to them? Can I see the joy in the play instead of trying to rewrite the script? And can I remember, even as the curtain draws near, that the essence of what I am has never been touched by the drama at all? When you awaken to this, even ordinary things shine with a quiet radiance. A sip of water, the sound of wind, the laughter of a friend, each becomes precious because you no longer demand that it last forever. You simply let it be, fully, now. And in that letting go, paradoxically, you find what you were seeking all along. A freedom beyond fear, a joy that does not depend on circumstance, a peace that no ending can disturb. So live, knowing the stage is temporary, but the witness is eternal. Act your role with passion, but don't mistake the role for who you are. Love deeply, but without clinging. Create boldly, but without fear of loss. For when the curtain falls, and it will, you will discover that what you truly are has been here all along, the stage, the light, the silence, the timeless awareness in which the whole drama rises and fades. And perhaps then you will smile, even as the play ends, because you will know the secret. You were never just an actor. You were the play itself. You were the eternal witness. You were always home. And so, when you realize that you were never just the actor, but the very stage itself, a new kind of courage awakens in you. Not the courage of conquest or control, but the courage of surrender, of trust. You begin to see that life is not something you must manage like a problem to be solved, but something you must allow like a song to be heard. The river of existence does not ask you to push it forward, it only asks you to flow with it. And when you flow, when you stop clutching at the banks in fear, suddenly you discover a strange paradox. You are no longer carried away, you are finally at home. The human mind, of course, resists this truth. It wants certainty, permanence, guarantees. It wants to know how the story ends before it begins. And yet, every attempt to secure life against change only creates more anxiety. The tighter you hold, the more you feel it slipping away. But what if you stopped holding altogether? What if you simply let life be as it is, without demanding that it match your plan? You might notice that the very freedom you sought by control is only found in letting go. Think of love. The more you try to possess someone, the more you kill the very thing that made love alive. True love is spacious. It allows the other to be free, to change, to grow. In the same way, life itself is only fully alive when you stop trying to imprison it. Possession is the opposite of love. Clinging is the opposite of freedom. And yet, our whole culture teaches us to hold on to people, to money, to status, to ideas. We build walls to keep life safe, not realizing that the walls keep us prisoners. But step outside those walls, even for a moment, and you will see the sky has always been open, the air has always been fresh, the horizon has always been limitless. Nothing was ever truly holding you but your own mind. You were free all along. This is why the mystics laugh. They laugh because the great search of mankind has always been for what was already here. We chase after enlightenment, after truth, after God, as if they were distant treasures. But the seeking itself is the obstacle. How can you find what never left you? How can you discover what you already are? The more desperately you search, the more blind you become. And the very moment you stop seeking, the very instant you relax into what is, the truth reveals itself, quietly, effortlessly, like the sun rising after a long night. The awakened ones have always insisted, stop running, sit still, be silent. For in silence, everything is given. The noise of thought is like waves on the ocean, restless, turbulent, endless. But beneath the waves lies a depth undisturbed, vast, and silent. That depth is your own being. You do not have to create it, you only have to notice it. It was never absent. Have you ever noticed how frightened people are of silence? They fill every moment with sound, music, chatter, television, endless distraction. Why? Because in silence, the masks begin to slip. In silence, The roles no longer hold. In silence, you come face to face with yourself, naked, without story, without pretense. And though it may be terrifying at first, if you stay with it, if you rest in that stillness, you will discover a presence more comforting than any noise. The silence is not empty. It is full of life, full of peace, full of truth. It is the ground of all things. And when you taste even a drop of this silence, the frantic chase of the world loses its grip. Success no longer inflates you. Failure no longer destroys you. Life is still lived, but it is lived lightly, like a feather on the breeze. You laugh more easily, forgive more quickly, love more deeply, because you no longer believe the dream is all there is. You know yourself as the watcher, and in that recognition, a new world opens. Death itself becomes different. Instead of a terrifying end, it becomes a great return, like the wave returning to the ocean. Do you think the wave truly dies? It rises, it dances, it falls, but it was never separate from the sea. In the same way, you were never separate from the eternal. The body rises, dances, and falls. But you remain the sea. You remain the awareness, vast and unbroken. So perhaps the real art of living is not about adding more, achieving more, becoming more. Perhaps the art is subtraction, peeling away what is false, what is borrowed, what is only costume, until nothing remains but the simple, undeniable truth of your being. And in that simplicity, life becomes extraordinary, not because it is permanent, but because it is alive, here now radiant in its fleetingness. The flower does not need to last forever to be beautiful. The sunset does not need to remain in the sky to be worthy of awe. Their very impermanence is their gift, and so it is with your life. You do not need eternity to make it meaningful. You only need presence. You only need to awaken to what is already here, already shining, already whole. So remember, the play continues. The roles will change. The curtain will rise and fall countless times. But you, what you truly are, remain untouched. And when you see this clearly, not as an idea, but as a living reality, everything becomes lighter. You can cry without despair. You can laugh without clinging. You can live without fear. For you know that in every moment, beneath every mask, there is only the timeless witness, the eternal awareness, the silent flame that never dies. And when the curtain falls for the final time, you will not be afraid. You will bow gracefully, smile knowingly, and return to the silence from which it all began. For you will have remembered the secret, that the whole play was never about winning or losing, clinging or fearing. It was about remembering who you are.